speak about the arrest today of Chad Daybell, newly wedded husband of Lori Vallow. This is a case that's very twisted, very intertwined, a lot of strange oddities going on here, and this is a doozy. This is something that I haven't spoken about at all. I have not covered this case at all, but tonight's video will be all about the discovery today of human remains at the Chad Daybell's residence. So bear with me, folks. I am not going to go over the whole timeline, but I'm going to bring it to you. My name is DutyRon, retired New York City police detective with 20 plus years in law enforcement. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so you will get all things DutyRon when I upload and go live. Thank you for my Patreon members, my channel members, my moderators, all my great friends who come in here, positively interact in the chat, in the live stream. I greatly, greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Without folks like you out there, we could not have a channel as great as this. So thank you. You guys all make it great. So I greatly, greatly appreciate the interaction. Paul Peck Drywall, welcome in. Joey Brooklyn, all of the great ones that are out there. Diane, Dookie 4000, I appreciate each and every one of you. Beth, thank you for coming in. Jonna, Sam Buffington is great, is in here. Lonnie, Laura Bruno, Scout Inquirer, Mrs. Mick Jagger, MJ Doris, and the names just go on and on. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. All right, guys, so today there was a search warrant that was executed out at Mr. Daybell's property. And on his property, there was human remains recovered. Now, there's word out there that it was bones. There was word out there that it's partial decomposed remains. We won't know until all of the updates are given to us. But right now, from what I see and what I've heard, it sounds like they had a recovery of human remains. Thank you for that super chat, and thank you for that
smiley face.
Thank you for that kind super chat. I greatly appreciate that. Let me scroll back real quick. Jeep Girl says, you are my favorite. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're making me blush. Paul Peck Drywall, welcome to the DutyRon family. Welcome to the Silver. Thank you, Paul Peck Drywall. Great, great friend of mine. If you guys aren't subscribed to Paul Peck, he's 100,000 subscriber channel, and he will give you all things drywall. So let me continue, folks. What they had go on here today was the district attorney and the investigators got great information. I know from being a retired law enforcement professional, when you go and do an application,
family.
When you do an application for a search warrant, you need very good information because you have to go before a judge and present what evidence you have. And a judge has to personally sign off on that search warrant. They went to that location at Mr. Daybell's residence, and they went right to a specific spot and began digging. They had areas that were tarped off because they had helicopters and different people up in the aviation. So thank you, everybody, for all of the kind words. I appreciate it. But let me finish the thought. So I'm not going to look at the chat for now. But they did do the tarps. It's a respect issue, and it's also to preserve evidence. So evidence and pictures and photographs of evidence is not going to get out into the mainstream media and taint perhaps evidence for a trial. So that's a part of securing evidence going forward to have a successful prosecution. Okay, so the successful prosecution is predicated on good evidence. Joel, thank you for becoming a channel member. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Welcome to the family. So I'm going to play for you a couple of clips that'll give you a basic timeline. But from what I see here today, they got good information, and I think
welcome to the DutyRon family.
With my experience, I feel that they got this information from somebody who has very close ties to him. So I feel that Lori Vallow gave them this specific information, and if it wasn't her, it was somebody else who had prior knowledge that there was bodies disposed of or a body disposed of. Now, don't forget, it doesn't necessarily mean this is the children's remains, but common sense prevails here. We would assume that it is the children's remains, but it could be these are people who are doomsday fortune, very weird people. I don't have to tell you guys about this. I did about 30 minutes of research on Lori and on Mr. Daybell. Chad is a weird dude, and he's into like doomsday fortune stuff. He's written many books, and his wife happens to die just weeks before they get married. Her husband happens to get shot by her brother, and the brother happens to get a brain aneurysm. That's 3 people that died, the demise of 3 people in a very short period of time around these two. And don't forget, her children now are missing. Right now, it's still a missing persons case pending the outcome of an autopsy. I feel that this is, they go to Hawaii, just all of the basics. I just etched and sketched on the basics. I really just looked at the basics. I didn't go deep into this case, but everything points to these 2 weirdos. They are into freaky stuff. She's into that whole cult thing. She's into the, that she's the coming of Christ and whatnot. Listen, her mother was on record defending the daughter. What parent is not going to defend their daughter or son? Look at Chris Watts. Look at his mom and dad. They basically stood by their son because that's their flesh and blood. So it's just human nature for a parent to stick by their daughter. So I saw Lori's mother give an interview. I think it was on 48 Hours or whatever it was. She was saying, my daughter would never do something like this. Blah, 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 blah. Well, I've heard that before, and I've been there and done that. So at the end of the day, folks, these are 2 very weird people and very into some weird shit, and that's to put it lightly. And I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. So let's take a peek at this quick timeline that I have queued up for you guys, and I'll be back in a second.
Given us much information about today's discovery. But joining us now, Utah defense attorney Greg Skordas, to talk about what happened today and what could be coming next in this investigation. Greg, how significant are these developments today?
Well, this is huge, Bob, and it's something that you and Kelly and I talked about in the studio a couple of months ago when Lori got arrested, because she was the only one that was arrested, and people kept asking. We talked about the fact that why is Chad not being arrested? So I think that it's now come full circle for him. I think that the Fremont County Attorney's Office had finally got enough evidence to have a search warrant. And they went to the house, they went to the yard, they knew, it seems like, exactly where they needed to go. And they dug up what appears right now to be human remains. God forbid what those are, but this is extremely significant. And I would say that this.
All right, so you're looking at an aerial view of the property. I just paused it real quick. It's a grainy feed, but the tarps are just a tad bit to the right. Over here in this area, I believe, is where they were digging up, and then this is that big round circle in the back. So this is the property here, and you can see all the FBI and different the different law enforcement agencies that are involved in this search warrant. And again, like I said, to get a search warrant, to successfully get a search warrant, to have a judge to apply for a search warrant, you have to have specific information. I used to have my confidential informants have to give me exact locations where guns or drugs were in my search warrants. So if I didn't have a confidential source or confidential informant, we used to refer to them as CIs, confidential informants. If the confidential informant didn't give the good enough information to the judge, and we also knew what we had to give to the judge to get a search warrant, we were denied that search warrant. So this search warrant, I believe, came from Lori talking on prison phones or talking to her friends or talking to somebody along the communication lines through the Department of Corrections. As we all know, they monitor all of the phone calls. So Lori had to been spilling the beans. She's probably a little pissed off that she's incarcerated and he's free. It doesn't take long before a scorned lover or a scorned psychopath gives up another person to get the blame off of themselves. So I'm sure that she acted in concert with this guy, but we soon will see what the result is. But this is the actual aerial photo from a local helicopter.
This is the beginning of the end for Chad Daybell.
Now, the fact that Chad was seen fleeing and was taken into custody about a mile from his residence, what do you make of that?
I think that he miscalculated what was going to happen here. I think that he probably felt that whoever gave him up or whoever gave the police the information that they ultimately needed to get this search warrant, and chances are, just based on my educated guess, it was probably Lori who finally decided she'd had enough of sitting in jail for something that he may have contributed in. But he probably thought that was never going to happen. And once the police arrived, once they came with the backhoe, once they started searching.
Okay, so you could see there over here in the foreground, it's kind of blurry, but there's like a blue tarp here. So this is probably the area where they dug. Thank you to all my moderators. Thank you to Katrina Catress, Half Rudder, welcome in, Joey Brooklyn, Heidi Leahy, Katrina, MJ, Inner Peas, Paul Peck Drywall, all of the guys, Frog Push Ion Weathers here. Welcome, Froggy, Inner Peas, and all of my great friends. Somebody made a great comment about the prison phones. I got to scroll back to that. Scout Inquirer. Yeah, it was Khalib. Khalib says, prison phones are the best. Inmates never learn. I tell you, some criminals are smart, but most are stupid. So there you have it. Thank you so much, Purgatory Paranormal. Welcome into the broadcast. Thank you for joining. All right, we're going to let this play because there's a timeline at the end of this that I want you guys to see. For those of you who are joining, I'm not doing a full case review on this missing children, Lori Vallow. I am actually just covering the turn of events that happened today. So this is not going to be in any way, shape, or form a full live on or a video on this entire case, but this will give you an overview.
He probably knew or seemed to have known what they were going to find, and decided there was no reason for him to stick around. I mean, it's significant. This is a huge development today, no question.
Now, Greg, in light of what happened today, what kind of evidence would be needed to press charges either against Chad or against Lori at this point?
So we've always been waiting, Bob, to find out where Tylee and JJ are.
Okay, so that's a better view. You could see there's two spots here. It's blue. I'm going to go ahead and assume that this is after the recoveries were made because there's no personnel out here. So they're just covering that up just so there's no there's no gawking. So they just place these tarps over because they may want to come back to do some more forensics, to do some more sifting through the dirt, to do some more evidence collection. There's going to be, police cars that are going to secure this property, so nobody's going to be able to get on it. So it is what it is. But that's my guess right there from a law enforcement standpoint.
To find out what happened to them. And it's always been the missing link, although it's not the critical link to a homicide charge. If in fact the medical examiner and those authorities in Fremont County determine that in fact what was found in his backyard are indeed the remains of those two children, it buttons up very tightly the homicide case that everyone's been expecting to come for a long time. It wasn't necessary, Bob, but it was very, very helpful to make this case much, much more compelling, especially if the remains are found right in his yard.
All right, Greg Skordas, defense attorney and Democratic candidate for Utah Attorney General. Thank you so much for being part of Fox 13 News Live at 5. Kelly.
Okay, without a doubt, Bob, this case has seen a lot of twists and turns as we've been covering it for months now.
Pay attention.
Let's break it down for you. JJ was last seen at his elementary school in Rexburg on September 23rd of last year. Tylee Ryan was last seen September 8th while visiting Yellowstone Park with JJ, Lori, and Lori's brother, Alex Cox.
All right, so this is the timeline of the children going missing. It goes all the way back, as you could see, to September of 2019. So JJ and Tylee were last seen September of 2019, and they're going to break down right from the beginning to the to current. So I'm not going to talk over that, but I just wanted to give anybody who was coming in A little bit of background. That was a defense attorney, a local attorney that was just talking, but this is going to be the timeline. Not in great detail, but just going to go over what the timeline is.
JJ's grandparents called down for you. JJ was last seen at his elementary school in Rexburg on September 23rd of last year. Tylee Ryan was last seen September 8th while visiting Yellowstone Park with JJ, Lori, and Lori's brother Alex Cox. JJ's grandparents called Rexburg police to report him missing weeks later. They said Lori had cut off contact with them. Chad and Lori were married on November 5th, just weeks after the disappearance of Lori's children and the death of Chad's previous wife, Tammy. In December, Lori's brother, Alex Cox, died. He shot and killed Lori's previous husband, Charles Vallow, in Arizona last summer. Kelly?
Now, it was on January 3rd, Chad's home in Salem, Idaho, was raided.
All right, so both of their spouses died. One, they actually, from what I read, Josh, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the $12 super chat. It's just odd that, both their spouses died, right? The kids go missing, but I understand that there's going to be a re-investigation. They're going to do another autopsy on his wife. So she was, when she first died, they ruled it not suspicious, but now they're going back and revisiting it. So you have a total of 2, 4, 5. You have the total of 5 people. Well, the kids, we can't now assume that they're dead, but we soon will see when the when all the autopsy and all the forensics comes back from the remains that they recovered. So I'm gonna let it go back again. I'm gonna let it go back again so we can hear this, because it's a short timeline and there's some interesting tidbits of information in this timeline. I'll let it roll one more time.
Down for you. JJ was last seen at his elementary school in Rexburg on September 23rd of last year. Tylee Ryan was last seen September 8th while visiting Yellowstone Park with JJ, Lori, and Lori's brother Alex Cox. JJ's grandparents called Rexburg police to report him missing weeks later. They said Lori had cut off contact with them. Chad and Lori were married on November 5th, just weeks after the disappearance of Lori's children and the death of Chad's previous wife, Tammy. In December, Lori's brother, Alex Cox, died. He shot and killed Lori's previous husband, Charles Vallow, in Arizona last summer. Kelly?
Now, it was on January 3rd, Chad's home in Salem, Idaho, was raided for the first time by state and federal authorities. Then on January 26th, police in Hawaii served the couple with a court order to show the missing children to an Idaho judge by January 30th. That deadline came and went with no sign of JJ and Tylee. In alleged contempt of court, Lori and Chad were free in Hawaii for about 21 days. Then on February 20th, Lori was arrested in Hawaii and held there until she could be extradited back to Idaho. It was on March 5th, Lori and her police escort arrived in Rexburg 2 days.
Okay, so yes, I mean, listen, the murders of all of these people, we can all agree that if we had to guess, the 2 of these people had to do with it. So welcome into all my new channel members, all my friends who are joining in, anybody that's new into the live stream, please hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you will get all things DutyRon. There are listen, Will, there's so many confusing twists and turns. This is not a normal case, but we can all agree that these 2 are very, very odd people. Okay, they're very, very odd people. And you know what? At the end of the day, folks, the evidence will bring justice forward here. And I think that the evidence is coming forward right now. So the evidence is coming forward, and then it'll be up to the prosecutors to seal the deal and take care of seal the fate on these 2 evil people. These are evil people. This is the devil again, as I always say. These are the devils walking the face of the earth. So You know, no matter how you slice it, no matter how you want to say what you want to call them, weirdos, this, that, the other. This is just a freak show. Yeah. Thank you so much, Life of MC.
After Chad had arrived on his own, March 6th, a request to have her bail reduced was denied. Fox 13 News has been following the search for J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan from the beginning, as have her bail reduced was denied. Fox 13 News has been following March 6th, a request to.
All right, so there it is. There's the whole timeline up on the investigation timeline. So thank you so much. Life of MC is a great friend of mine from the Philippines. If you guys aren't subscribed to her channel, definitely check out Life of MC. She's awesome. But yes, this is an ongoing, things happen rapidly today. They went in there with good information. The investigators, from what was people on the ground and witnesses, aerial shots showed that they went straight to a specific location. It was not any digging around like what we saw in different cases from the past. There was no, vague information. They had really good, solid information. They had that search warrant, and they went there and executed it. So this is, this is really, really, and I'm telling you, I've seen a lot of different cases over my time. This is a really twisted turn. It has so many different angles. This has got so many different angles, so many different things. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to this woman here is evil. She didn't want to have anything to do with her kids, and was perhaps once she connected with Chad Daybell, all bets were off, and there was everybody was in the way. And as you could see, everybody just disappeared. So this is a really sickening case, especially because it involves children. It involves an autistic boy, and it involves a young teenager. So this is really, really disturbing on many different parts. This is on many different levels. This is a very, very sickening and disturbing case. Hello, Liz. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Let me just quickly scroll into the chat and say hello to everyone. Faithful One, great to see you. Sophia Howard, good to see you. The fact that they went to Hawaii like it was all good, that their 2 kids were missing, was surreal. It just shows how callous and how detached from this world she and Chad were. They're detached from the world, and they are in their own private Idaho. These are sick people. These are people who think that, the world's coming to an end, and that they are in control, and that they're the vehicle that needs to send out the message. So it's just really crazy. I mean, crazy stuff. These are the most dangerous people because they are truly possessed by the devil. So J-Cat, good to see you. Thank you for joining. Hello, Pete. Great to see you. Pete Byron, good evening. My good friend down in Hollywood, Florida. Great to see you. Thanks for joining. Pete Byron, wonderful broadcaster, along with Purgatory Paranormal. And Mel over in Australia. Great to see you. So thank you so much. Sweet Chaos, I agree 1,000%. So let's let the rest of this go. This gives you the full timeline on the screen, September to 2019, right up until March 2020. And this is
have her bail reduced
disturbing.
Was denied. Fox 13 News has been following the search for J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan from the beginning, as well as the court case against Lori Vallow Daybell. You can find more. So
they're just, again, I have the law enforcement interview, their presser from today, but it was garbage because it was at a roadside, and all you heard was trucks driving by, and they really didn't say anything other than that this guy's in custody. He will be arraigned tomorrow. Mr. Daybell will be brought into arraignments tomorrow, and he will be charged with whatever the prosecution brings forward. I'm not sure if they will hold him before they get the forensics results, and it could be quick as quick as tomorrow. If they have the medical examiner working on this overnight, and by the time he gets arraigned, they could already have positive ID with DNA. You don't know. I don't know what the condition of the remains were. I heard that it was bones. We don't know. Those are just speculations. So I'm going to have to just wait out and see what they have to say tomorrow. So again, this is not in any way, shape, or form a full coverage of this case. I never did a live and I never did a video about this case because there were so many people talking about it. I was just, busy with doing and covering other things. But today I got a lot of direct messages and emails to please cover the criminal aspect of the recovery. So this video is strictly about the recovery of the human remains at Mr. Daybell's residence and how the police come about to get a full search warrant to go onto somebody's property. I really do feel in my heart, hi Cinnamon Hot Hot, I really feel in my heart that they got this information from somebody close to him, and that would be Lori Vallow in my with my experience as a law enforcement professional. So my gut instinct is that they got this info from her, and she was talking it up on her prison phone, maybe talking to her friends or talking to somebody, and she spilled the beans. Or it could have been good investigators that interviewed her in prison and got her to flip and gave the information. Or she could have volunteered it. She could have just said, screw this, I'm not taking the rap for it, when this guy is out there doing his thing. And she probably felt that she could implicate him and get some of the heat off of her. Those were her biological kids, Glenda. He was the stepdad. And if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. I know a lot of you guys in here know the inner workings, but from what I read, those were her biological kids, and he was the stepdad. She just only married him recently, within the last several months. So. There you go, Felicia. Felicia Cortez said, I said she was going to talk. Listen, most prisoners do talk. Most people who are incarcerated do talk. Coats of Many Colors says, DutyRon, they are charging him with felony destruction and concealment of evidence. It could be unlawful disposal of a human body. It could be, listen, nobody's going to know until tomorrow what they're going to charge him with. When he gets arraigned on the charges, that's when we'll know. Until he's arraigned, it's all speculation. So I'm going to wait until tomorrow. I'll wait until tomorrow to see what the charges are. So JJ was adopted, I believe somebody said. Okay, I mean, it's neither here nor there. I know it's a valid question, but at the end of the day, it's two kids that were that disappeared. 17-year-old girl and I believe an 11-year-old boy, and or 7. The son was autistic, so this makes it even more sickening and disgusting that she would just go to Hawaii and abandon her kids. You know what I mean? So just a sickening story. Very, very sickening. When you see people and human beings do this kind of stuff, it just makes you just think, and it makes you go, huh, wow. There's people out there that are capable of this type of stuff. So again, folks, that's really all I have. I mean, I do have a couple of other things. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for all the channel members and the super chat that you guys are throwing out there. I greatly appreciate the support on the channel. Again, sign is here from Matt Sully, U Police. This goes back to a long, long way. I don't know anything about the sources saying it's 2 bodies. I have no information in regards to that. I will wait till tomorrow until it comes out and it's confirmed. I don't like to speculate on things that I don't know. So it just said human remains were recovered from his residence. So I'm going to just leave it at that. I don't know if it's 2 or what the situation is. Hold on a second. Here's another report. It's just a short one, so I'll let this go. I'll let this play for you guys so you guys can see this. It's only like, I don't know, 1 minute and 30 seconds or something like that. But this is also a local report, a local story. Hold on a second. Let me stop this so you guys can see it. It's actually a little bit longer than that. But let's take a peek at this so you guys can see it, and then we'll wrap it up.
Idaho, where Rexburg police say human remains have been discovered on Chad Daybell's property.
This may be the break in the case authorities have been looking for after J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan disappeared in September of last year.
We watched this already. We don't need to see that again. I guess that was it. I thought I had more. No, I don't. That was it, guys. So this was the interview, and the interview was just really loud. I don't think you guys want to hear the press. Do you guys want to hear the press conference from law enforcement? I mean, did all of you guys hear that, or is there anybody here that didn't hear that? If you didn't, I'll play it, but it's a really grainy video, and it's not it's a lot. There's a lot of noise in it. So if you guys want to hear it, I'll play it for you. If you don't, we'll just leave it alone. So Carol, thank you so much for being in here. So let's see. I don't have a mugshot of him because he hasn't been official. He's been booked in, so there is definitely a mugshot, but it hasn't been released. And I don't see the advantage of showing his mugshot. I don't like to give these freaking animals the center stage. I hate to give them the center stage. So even if I had a mugshot, I really wouldn't show it, to be honest with you. I really wouldn't. All right, here we go. The sound sucks.
Directly to my right is my Assistant Chief of Police, Gary Hagan. And then to his right is Sheriff Lynn Humphreys.
Sound is low, so nothing I can do about it.
Today, Officer Hagan will be giving the release, and so I'll turn the time over to him.
Okay, we'd first like to thank everybody for coming out today. And thank everybody that's been following this case from day one. This has been a very trying thing for everybody involved, and we just want to emphasize how thankful we are for everybody. Again, my name is Assistant Chief Gary Hagan.
Thanks, Holly.
Spelling of my last name is Hagan, Hagen. Wanted to give a brief press release today about some events that have occurred today in regards to our missing children's case of Tylee Ryan and Joshua Vallow. This morning we served the Rexburg Police Department and the Fremont County Sheriff's Office and the FBI served a search warrant in the 200 block of 1900 East here in Fremont County, also known as Chad Daybell's residence. Throughout the investigation, detectives and investigators have recovered what's believed to be human remains that have not been identified at this time. We are not going to answer any questions at this time in regards to any of the further the investigation until we have more
Marcy,
details,
welcome.
but we were wanting to get this out to let everybody know before there's speculation or rumor that starts flying. So again, we're not going to take any questions at this time. That we'll save that for a later press conference when we have more details. But again, we just want to reemphasize how much appreciation we have for you guys for coming out here and for covering this, and for the families and friends of everybody involved. So we appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so that was about it. It depends on the remains. If it's very decomposed or if it's just bones, it would take a little bit longer. You know, the DNA and the FBI actually is involved, so the FBI lab is probably going to handle the recovery and the identification. So, you know, they're afforded, you know, through the feds have the best of equipment. So the feds are involved in this case. They're going to take care of doing the remains and the identification process. So it could take as long as 3 days. It could take 24 hours. Far more fanatic. Thank you for coming on in. But listen, we can speculate all we want until everything comes out. I don't like to, guess on what happened to them. And even if this is a recovery of the 2 missing children, for the sake of everybody, family-wise, I hope they can bring some closure and some answers to this case. When none of us will know or would ever want to know what it's like to have a loved one that's not coming home or that we don't know where they are. So it's really sickening, and it's trying on a family to have a loved one that's outstanding. And, going through the winters and the cold weather, and it's just really sad. There's a human side to this that when we look at these cases, some of us don't actually, or we disconnect from that. And I know for a fact that these people go through sleepless nights, and it's really difficult. It's difficult. So let me get it back up on the screen. Guys, so all of the information will be forthcoming in the next day or two. I'm going to wait until that comes out. I'll give you an update, but just plan on the charges to come tomorrow morning in an arraignment court in the local county over there. So they will arraign him on the charges. Thank you to all of my channel members, my Patreon supporters, my people who subscribe to the channel. All of the positive interaction in the comment section, it means a great deal to me, and I really do appreciate each and every one of you. So anybody have any questions for me real quick? I will look at the comments and we could take some Q&A. I'm not going to really have a bunch of information, but if you have anything law enforcement wise, I'll be more than happy to try to answer those questions. Mav, you're welcome. It's great to see you. Thank you so much for being in here. Can you talk about the protests in New York? I can, but I won't, because that's not what this video is about. Prayers for Kay and Larry. There you go. Thank you. Cinnamon Hot, you are awesome as well. Thank you so much for your kind words. I think the charges will change. They could. The charges could change. They could change. Chris Cedar, thank you so much for being in here. Hello. Thank you. Hi, Nancy. Meg, great to see you, Meg. Thank you. Yes, we have a positive group here. You're welcome. Kimmy Monster. My pleasure. I love that name. That's a good one. I am police. Yes, right there. That's from Matt Sully. Thank you to Matt Sully. Sweetheart, thank you for being in here. Matt Sully, thank you for this great sign, the You Police sign. I appreciate that. Yeah, closure, Sleeping Beauty, 100%. Love and peace right back to you. Mama Bear, number 3. Thank you for all of your, hey, people who leave comments below my videos, I love you guys. So thank you for the comments. Arraignment is supposed to stream on Court's YouTube. There you go. For those of you who are into that stuff, go and watch it. I've been a part of thousands of arraignments. So to me, it's not that interesting. Do you think Lori ratted him out? Vicky, I do think Lori did rat him out. Thank you for the subscription. I hope you post more on it. I will, Holly. I will. I'll post more when it becomes available. Thank you for subscribing, Melissa. I appreciate that. So it doesn't look like there's any more questioning. Liz, what makes this group great, and I got to tell everybody this, what makes this group great is all of you guys. So I tip my cap, much love and respect to each and every one of you for making this group great. I mean, you guys are fantastic. Hello, Jersey girl. Welcome into the live stream. Deb, thank you so much. Deb. I'm going to screw that name up. But Deb, thank you. Thank you for thanking me. Jack's mom, great to see you. Thanks for being in here. Okay, guys, I'm going to sign off. Grant McIntosh, great to see you. Good friend of mine over there. Guys, God bless the world. God bless each and every one of us. And God bless the US of A. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming on in. And I will talk to you on the next live stream. Guys, don't forget, keep your eyes open. Take care of your neighbors. Take care of your friends. Call the loved ones that are out there, because you never know when it could be our last day. You know, check in on your friends, family, and loved ones. Sleeping Beauty, thank you for the Aussie dollars, the $20
Thank you
super
for
chat.
the super love.
Thank you for being real and respectful.
Thank you, DutyRon, for being real and respectful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, guys, good night from New York City.